Good morning. This is the discussions at the Roundtable with Miss Linette Keller and Debbie Mabry. And our guest, you might remember her from some of our earlier episodes, Tiffany Herndon. Ms. Herndon is an LMFT, LPC at Counseling Solutions. And as you know, Linette and I, we just kind of hang out here. So, Netter, you want to go ahead and start?
Well, today we're going to get started on telehealth, which it's been around for a little bit, but it's still fairly young in its stages. You know, we're not quite at the genesis anymore, but it's been around for a while, and it's just one more way for clients to receive therapy. It can be done from a remote location. It reaches far beyond brick and mortar. For some clients who can't get out for whatever reason, it's just not possible or feasible for them, but that doesn't mean that they can't still receive treatment.
Yes.
So that's where we're going to go today and discuss a little bit about telehealth and how it works.
Yeah. I started getting into telehealth partly because the LMFT board was going to start requiring it, because it wanted, if we have any contact with clients, we want to be able to offer that as a platform for them to get a hold of us. Let's say car breaks down, or they can't get transportation, or sickness, illness. A lot of times it's difficult to get out of the house. Different reasons wanted to make counseling available to people who had a hard time getting out of the house for one reason or another. Yeah.
So I think we talked about this actually at our last therapist meeting. And there seemed to be some interest amongst the therapists at Counseling Solutions to invest in this program and to become a part of this program. And so Ms. Herndon led is in charge of the program, and she brought some information to us. I believe we have chosen a platform, and she feels very comfortable with the platform. It seems to be very logically assembled. My concern was that we were going to get lost in the technology. And you felt that didn't need to be a barrier.
No.
Yeah.
It felt very simple. So the platform that I found was called TheraLink, and it is a secure platform, and everything happens within that platform itself. There is no emailing personal emails. There is no faxing information back and forth in order to add, like, for those of us who may not be as techie, we don't have to add 5 or 6 different methods of communication. It's one. We go on, we register, and then in that portal, it offers you the video counseling. You can share documents back and forth. It's very simple, kind of one click, which I really liked. I liked the platform of it, and I liked that it was completely secure. We don't have to go into the process of, we all are concerned, or often are concerned about
Hacking.
Exactly. And if I do something online, is it going to be safe? How do I know it's safe? Do I trust the people who are putting it up? Doing it through a therapy platform with their criteria and their requirements allows us to be confident of that, or as confident as we can be right now. So I really liked this system. It's called TheraLink.
Our front office manager will be navigating the system to assist us all in the booking processes. Ms. Herndon will meet with the rest of us, and when we kick it off, which should be pretty soon, I know she was wanting to get it started at least by the end of March. We have some interest amongst our LMFT associates and LPC interns as well as doing some of the online therapy. And according to the ethics, they're able to do that. I don't think practicums would be able to. I don't see how they would. But, I don't know. Do you see any possibilities, Ms. Linette? How are you feeling about the DBT? I know Tiffany is also, Tiffany is a nationally certified DBT therapist, and Miss Linette is in her last stages of the same thing, and final stages. And what are y'all's thoughts about utilizing any type of DBT per internet, per visual counseling?
I believe it's a good idea. Reason being, much the same what Tiffany already hit on. You know, sometimes clients can't get here for whatever reason, and with that being said, you know, it's too easy to go into a spiral.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're in a spiral and you can't get to where you need to be to get the help that you need, that doesn't help matters.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to have access to this, I think, is great. And even being the latest that's up and coming into the field, I'm open to it because I think it's also a learning tool. And it may even help with subsiding some of the anxiety a person may have coming in. So yeah, I think it's a wonderful idea. It's new, it's fresh, and I think within the field, we do have to keep up with information and technology because it's the world we live in.
Yes.
And if we don't, we're going to be left behind in the dark ages, and then what does that do for our clients?
Right. It's a very good point.
Yeah. I see it as I guess the positives and the negatives. Positives that I've even had clients who've started here, they've had to move and they've been doing DBT for one reason or another. Mm-hmm. And as long as they're in the state of Texas, I can see them via video counseling. And that, okay, so we know DBT is often for personality disorders, even in general, or severe PTSD. It's easy for those clients to shift therapists and not have the continuity of care that can help them from one person to the next. So they're starting over in not a good way every time they go to a new place.
Right. Well, what about insurance coverage?
So looking into, that would be the first step I would encourage anybody who's interested is call your insurance. Mm-hmm. Call your insurance and double check. Do you cover, and ask about video counseling, because phone counseling, as of right now, is not covered. Mm-hmm. So be sure to ask about video counseling and see if they cover it. If they do cover it, then you can call and find who has that and who does the video counseling. Like here, we're on different panels that we can do the video counseling for different panels. Medicaid itself, I believe, is, from what we've looked at the rules, it's supposed to cover it. But always call and double check. And then if your insurance doesn't cover it, that's when we have the interns who are looking into doing it in the intern clinic. And for those who are available to do it, the intern clinic is the sliding scale free from $5 to $25, and that would be a great outlet to be able to take advantage of it.
Now, what if I wanted a licensed therapist, but I don't have insurance to cover?
Then we have the cash pay. I think right now we have cash pay at $70 per session, I believe. So that's another option.
You can put it on your credit card.
Mm-hmm.
You can pay by debit card. We're hooked up for all of that. Mm-hmm. We're trying to make it as easy as possible for our clients so they don't have to get sidetracked with additional anxiety trying to get through to us. We're trying to express lane it with as few points as possible, so we can get to what we're really after, which is the client, and trying to help that individual. I think that most of the telehealth I've seen is in increments of 30 minutes, I believe.
Okay.
And I don't know, as far as I know, we will be doing the 30 minutes and the 60 minutes. And the 60 minutes is the 70. And the 30 minutes is the 35, which would be half of your 70. I don't, at this point, know of anyone who's going to be doing longer than 1 hour. I do know that we can do marriage therapy via telehealth, as well as the individuals. Have y'all thought about doing a DBT group telehealth?
I would shy away from that, partly because you're going to have good clients that are going to be a good fit for telehealth and clients who are not a good fit. And the clients who are not going to be a good fit are going to be highly suicidal or highly homicidal. And at that point, it becomes
a crisis.
Yes, and to not have a physical presence with somebody who's having a crisis is not good for either one.
So is it fair to say that if I need help, I need to get in touch with Miss Tiffany immediately? I don't have time to come in. I'm out of town. I'm in San Antonio. I need an emergency appointment, so I'm going to do the telehealth. But when I do the telehealth, talking to Miss Tiffany, I realize that I am suicidal.
Right.
So at that point, Miss Tiffany tells me to go to the closest ER.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're feeling that extra, if you're feeling extreme, then this may not be the avenue you need.
And that's on the responsibility of the therapist doing telehealth. Each session of telehealth, you're supposed to have available a person who can come to you, an individual who would be your backup individual if you need somebody physical, and also knowledge of where the ERs are at. So that is on the responsibility of the therapist as well as the client, as for self-care, of being sure you know where the person is at and what they have availability to. Because if I see somebody South Texas or way on the west side of Texas, there's no way I could get to them physically. They need to be able to take themselves in or have access to it.
Or we need to know the hospital. We can send
Right.
the ambulance for the well check.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so it sounds like this can be a pretty safe endeavor. Miss Linette,
Yes.
thoughts, data, research.
Always research. Well, speaking of crisis, and this is some of the information that Ms. Tiffany shared with us, is that an online therapist, telehealth therapist cannot respond to a crisis. It's impossible. And it's, important for folks to understand that. And another good thing, as far as do's and don'ts, it's knowing your parameters and how much latitude you have. And that's going in. A lot of states, from what I'm reading here, they don't allow out-of-state therapists, to do the long distance therapy. And that's interesting to me because of the fact that we are in such a transient community. I always think about that. And if a person is having that moment and they're in another state, it's like, my gosh, what do I do? That's alarming, very alarming. As far as stats are concerned, there's been some research on it, and the stats are brief, but it's positive. And it's that, 56% of U.S. adults with mental health do not receive proper treatment. Well, hence the segue into what we're discussing today, because it's just one more avenue for a person to receive the help that they need. This was done in 2017, and it says 34.3 million American adults self-reported needing treatment for alcoholism and illicit drug use. That's due to increase. It says here, leaving over 100 million people without adequate access to mental health. That scares me.
Yeah.
That scares me. That's far too many people. I mean, one is too many, but if you think about 100 million people out there needing help and suffering in silence and not knowing that this is available to them, that's not good.
No, it's not.
And I think that brings up a good point of access. So we live in Texas. There's lots of rural communities. You may not live within good distance of driving distance of being able to go to a counselor and keep it maintainable. To have the video counseling, it can take out that hour and a half hour drive time in order to see a counselor and make life more doable.
Yes.
Why the restrictions at state boundaries? Why can we not cross boundaries?
From the research that I've done via the licensing,
Yes, it's the licensure.
because we are a state that goes between state to state. So if I move to a different state, I have to request licensure through that state to be approved. There were a few cases, but they were very exceptional cases where you got a hold, the therapist already was seeing the client, they got a hold of that state and said, my client moved here, can I see them from this amount of time to this amount of time to help get them transferred over? So it's the license restriction.
I remember a number of years ago, one of my interns was an officer. He was deployed. He was downrange. Sorry. He was downrange, and I supervised him via video. the entire time.
Yeah.
I think it was 16 months that he was downrange. And the LPC board allowed it.
Yeah.
They gave us permission to do that.
Yeah. So it might be per
It might be per case.
case.
It might be. I was really appreciative of that because it helped him so much to be able to get that supervision while he was in the midst of the conflict situation, which helped a lot.
Yeah.
Interesting. John Hopkins did a study in April of 2012, and it stated that close to 100,000 veterans found the number of days clients were hospitalized dropped by 25% if they chose online counseling. That's a
That
big
is
dent.
amazing.
That's huge.
That's a big dent.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Which may cater into the situation that you were discussing just now, when face-to-face is not available.
It's not an option.
It's not. It's just impossible. And again, it goes back to case by case. But for John Hopkins to take such an interest in be able to publish this, I think this is, great for us to know, as well as, our viewing audience to know as well.
Yeah.
I think that's really, really going to be something that we'll enjoy. We have a lot of veterans here. We have veterans who are therapists, veterans who are interns, a veteran who's almost not a practicum anymore, but an intern. And we also have a couple of therapists here who are married to active duty soldiers, you being one. And I've often thought, who better to work with a wife of an active duty soldier than perhaps another wife who is also a therapist. That gives you guys, and veteran to veteran as well, that gives you guys a lot further reach. And I think that is awesome, because I think you could connect in a way that the rest of us could not. And you just have, someone who's they're just entering the military and they're having adjusting problems and coping problems, because I understand it might be a little difficult. And who better to go and offer guidance? And you can do that when they need it via telephone. And you might be in Killeen and they may be in El Paso. And you still have that access. So I can see that this would be very positive.
It opens doors.
There were 5 things that came up reference to what we're talking about today. Number 1, ease and convenience. Number 2, increased access. Number 3, fewer missed appointments. Because it's so convenient. The ability to reach new clients. And what I really love here is customized care. Tailored to fit the individual, and it's not a cookie cutter approach.
We have some clients who have difficulty getting 2 sessions because of lack of gas money. Sometimes funds are very hard to come by. And people choose to take their kids to school or to go to work instead of therapy. Understood. This would help there as well. If their insurance covered the online counseling, they wouldn't have to budget for that extra gas. And I can see that as being huge.
That was one of the primary reasons that I started, is because I had numerous clients who either couldn't make it in, or some who had illnesses that got worse. So that all of a sudden they were homebound, and I'd seen them for the last year. And I wasn't just I'm not gonna stop care. So finding how we continue, and we did phone for a little while, but I like the video because you get to see the other person, and it has its limitations. You're not gonna see all the nuances of the way you're sitting and all of your facial features, but you get to see quite a bit, because I'm much closer than what we are now, and you get to see each other's face, you get to talk, you get to have that interaction. as much as can be done over.
And also get a glimpse at the environment that the client is in too.
Oh,
You
now
know,
that's
when they
big.
come in, we don't
Yeah.
get to see them, but even to have just a glimpse of their living environment
Mhm.
will give, I would like to say, a tell.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can tidy up just so much, but there's always going to be something that's missed, especially when, you know, it's not a good day.
And it gives you that freedom to kind of have that not good day. Yeah.
That's true.
So.
That's true. Well, this is definitely something we'll keep you posted on. At this time, if you're interested in looking into telebehavioral health with counseling solutions, please email us at counseling for you at gmail.com, or else give us a call at 254-519-1144, and we'll be really happy to hook you up and tell you information that you might need.
Yeah.
Anything else, ladies?
It's up and coming. It's transforming the whole therapeutic model by introducing this to clients these days.
That is really fascinating. And so I guess we're ready to head out, and you guys have a good week.
Hey, have a good weekend. Be safe.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Right here?
No, the one next to it.